We know that percent is out of 100. Okay, does everyone remember the symbol for percent? Looks like this. What else? What else do you remember? We use percent to calculate discounts. What else do we use percent for? Tax. Good. Anyone know what percent tax is? Excellent. 13%. We're going to be talking about this today and tomorrow. What else? To find your average. Good. Your mark in class, right? What else? Where else do you use percent? Okay. You can use percent to calculate a budget for a week or a budget for a month. How can you represent percentage? How else can it be represented besides using this symbol? Yep. A fraction. Good. And decimals. Excellent. We have 24%. So everyone look here, please. This is the practice example. A ratio of 24 to 100 would be 24%, right? 24%. And I want to represent this as a decimal. Or sorry, as a fraction first. Well, what's percentage always out of? 100. So what's the percent? What would this be as a fraction? 24 out of 100. Excellent. Can you put that into lowest terms? So that we can divide the numerator and the denominator by 4. So in lowest terms, what do we have? 6 over 25. Excellent. Okay, so this is the percentage as a fraction in lowest terms. So we can divide the numerator by the denominator. Doesn't matter if I take 24 and divide it by 100 or if I take 6 and divide it by 25. Am I going to get a different answer? No, so I want you to try it on your calculator. 24 out of 100 you should be able to do in your head. What's 24 divided by 100? 0.24. I want you to double check that 6 divided by 25 is also 0.24. Excellent. 5 out of 100. Which is equal to 1 out of 20 in lowest terms. What did you divide the numerator and denominator by? Pardon?
5.
Good. They're both divisible by 5. And as a decimal, what would this be as a decimal? Saying 0.05. Raise your hand if you got this one right. If I wrote 0.50, what percentage would that be? Yep. Yes? Saying, yeah, 50%. So this is different from 5%, okay? That's really important that you note that. What about the next one? 12.5%. We know that percent's out of 100, so technically it would be 12.5 out of 100, but we don't want to have a decimal. You can't have a decimal with a fraction, right? So what Andre did was he found an equivalent fraction, so you multiplied by what? He multiplied the numerator and the denominator by 2. What happens when you multiply 12.5 times 2? What do you get? Is that a whole number? Yes. What's 100 times 2? Okay, so we just found an equivalent fraction with a whole number. Now, can we reduce this into lowest terms? 25 out of 200 is equal to what in lowest terms? 1 over 8, and we divided by 25. Excellent. And to find it as a decimal, 1 divided by 8, 0.125. Excellent. Or if we look here, everyone look here, please. Go from a percentage to a decimal, we're dividing by 100, which we do. How do you do this as a shortcut? What do you do with the decimal place? Moving the decimal how many places? 2 places. It's division to the left or right? Left. Look where we end up. 0.125. Okay. I want to turn a decimal into a percentage. Well, we know that percent is out of what? What's percent always out of? So if I want to turn 0.021 and I want to turn that into a percentage, what would I do? What calculation would I make to turn it into a percent if percent's out of 100? Good. What am I multiplying by? Multiply by 100. When we multiply by 100, we can also move the decimal how many places? 2 places to the... Good. So you can actually do this without a calculator. 0.021 becomes what percentage? 2.1%. I want you to fill in the rest in the table, and we'll take them up in a minute. Very straightforward. Good. We're moving the decimal 2 places to the right. So 16.28%. C, 67%. And D, 41%. Excellent. If you want to calculate a percent of a number, which you will use a lot in your everyday lives with tax, with discount, okay? So for example, 15% of 30. What does the word of mean in mathematics? What operation does that mean? Multiplication. So we know that we're going to be taking 15% and multiplying it by 30. What do I need to do with this 15%? Turn 15% into a decimal, which we just did 2 minutes ago. Divide by 100, right? To go from a percent to a decimal, we divide by 100. So if here's a decimal place, right, 15, we move it 2 places to the left, it becomes 0.15. Therefore, we can now calculate 0.15 times 30 is what? 4.5, 4.5. So 15% of 30 is 4.5. If I had 30 candies and I said you can have 15% of my candies, how many candies would you get? 4.5. Well, you'd have to split one of the candies in half.
Made with Doodlecast Pro.